We have Emandi Ezenago. Emandi is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Emandi.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
We also have Izuchukwu Osakwe. Izuchukwu is also a public affairs analyst. Izuchukwu, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, quickly, let's go over to the papers we have this morning. The first one is the Daily Times newspaper. And the banner headline in the front page of Daily Times: Africa's role as raw mineral suppliers solidifying its misery. This is coming from our President Tinubu. And then we have the riders under it saying, SEG's extracting raw materials without processing locally deepens continent's underdevelopment. Up there, court restrains PDP governors, National Working Committee, BOT others from dissolving pro-Wike PDP ESCO in Rivers. I won't tolerate corrupt judicial officers, frivolous ex parte orders, and others acting CJN. Presidency, federal government won't interfere in NMPCL and Dangote gasoline price battle. Abandoned projects, ICPC returns over 500 contractors to sites. ASU gives 14-day ultimatum to federal government over unresolved issues, says it shouldn't be held responsible for any industrial action that might result from government's failure to meet deadline. Federal government increases core members' allowance to 77,000 naira. Well, these are the stories we have on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Emandi, let's start with you. Let's look at the story of ASU. ASU giving 14-day ultimatum to federal government, said nobody should hold them responsible for federal government not fulfilling their own side of the bargain.
This ASU case with the federal government, in fact, we've seen it in Nigeria as a natural phenomenon that occurs every year or every half of the year. It has lingered more than enough. It has become a tradition in Nigeria today that there must be misunderstanding, there must be argument between the ASU and the federal government, and at the end of the day, strike commences. Now, we all know the agreement between the past administration and ASU before they called off their over 6 months strike. Now, the federal government has refused to fulfill their promises. You know, one thing with this federal government, even right from the past administration, is that they have this tradition of breaking the, or should I say, having this bridge in contract. It is their tradition, it is their, should I say, it is part of them. It has become part of them. So if the 14 days ultimatum given by ASU should elapse and they embark on strike, Nigerians and Nigerian students should not be surprised, because it is a reoccurring event that happens either every year or every 2 years, that Nigerian lecturers will embark on strike. So the federal government should look at this, because what they are trying to manipulate or to toy with is the future of these Nigerian students. And this strike of 18 is not a good name. It's bringing Nigeria bad name. How can you tell us that in a country like this, you claim to be giant of Africa, you claim to have this, you claim to have that? At the end of the day, every year, the lecturers embark on strike, affecting the academic session of the students, and maybe every, should I say, within 2 years, another strike commences. So let there be a lasting solution to this strike of 18. It's not that the federal government cannot do the needful or fulfill the promises that they gave to ASU, but we can't just tell. It is their practice, it is their character, that whatever contract we have with either individual or any institution or with another country, we must bridge this contract. It is their way of life.
All right, thank you so much. Let's come to you. What do you make out of the statement by our president saying that Africa's role as raw material supplier solidified its misery? And he went further to say that us extracting raw materials without processing locally deepens our continent's underdevelopment. I mean, coming from a president of one of the African countries.
I'd say it's long overdue, but the fact that we're just realizing that now means that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Because if we keep being suppliers of raw materials to these Western countries, at the end we will be the consumers of the finished product. Now, if we try to constitute, make laws that will make these raw materials to remain here. If you're interested in our raw materials, if you have the capacity, come to Africa, come to Nigeria. Come and establish your company here. It will help. It will stimulate the economy. But a lot of people have been saying this way long before. But then there's this African culture of quick money. Just export, get the money, and then we are cool with it.
And these decisions are being taken by our leaders.
Yeah, the onus is on them to know what to do. I'm happy that Mr. President is seeing it as it is, because it has been our misery. In fact, it's the major reason why we are underdeveloped. One of the major reasons why we are underdeveloped, because these raw materials now, I like the fact that this solid mineral minister, I think the previous one, didn't allow export of uranium from Nigeria. Said if you are interested in our uranium, come and establish a company here. Let us process it here. When I saw that, I saw the news, something like that. I was like, yes, this is way to go. This is how it is supposed to be. For Africans, I don't know, would I say it's our lazy attitude, or our, maybe some people that have the capacity to invest in these areas don't want to invest. Probably because they have this ill-gotten wealth and they don't want.
But then again, foreigners, just like we've noticed lately, that most of the foreign companies are leaving the country, especially I'm using Nigeria as a case in study, leaving the country because of poor policies that are probably affecting their businesses. So now, if you're telling them to come back to this country because of a particular raw material, do you think that they will come?
I wouldn't say it's totally poor policy that's making them leave. This economic meltdown. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. Just that we are the most heat at there. Let me just put it that way. But it's not going to be like that forever. It's not going to be like that forever. They are leaving. Why they are leaving? There are other people that are seeing opportunities. So, the fact that these foreign nationals multinationals are leaving does not mean that Nigeria is not viable for economic for profitable economic activities. It is. It's just for the president. The president has identified the problem now, so it's left for them to fix it. The major reason why they are leaving, I think, it's just the high cost of production, and it has a major role to play in productivity and at the same time profit. So I think they are leaving. At the same time, insecurity. The president should know what to do, because if you are saying that we won't export our raw materials and you are not fixing the problem that's making these multinationals to leave, then we are not. In fact,
are we going to shove it down our throats?
We'll go deeper than we are already. Yeah. So I just hope the president knows what to do.
Okay. So let's quickly go over to the next paper. That's the Punch newspaper. Cabinet shake-up. Tinubu demands 46 ministers fresh scorecards as lobby begins. That's the banner headline there, with the writer saying cabinet rejig will be based on ministers' performance. Presidency, political bigwigs, ministers intensify lobbying. And then Dangote refinery, marketers plan direct petrol purchase. Government molds 30% TED fund allocation for student loan. Federal government proposes NIN tax for foreigners. Yahaya Bello, EFCC files fresh 110 billion naira fraud charges. And then Kekere Ekun warns judges against corruption after Senate confirmation. Bobrisky, minister orders alleged bribery probe. Falana plans suit. Edo poll mad by vote buying delay MBA observers. Okay, these are the stories, the front page of the Punch newspaper. Talking about the cabinet shake-up, that's the banner headline there. We can see that, of course, the presidency, they are planning to, reshuffle the cabinet ministers. And from what is written here, they're saying that it is the selection or rejigging will be based on ministers' performance, and we see our ministers lobbying probably to remain in the position that they are in and all that. So, well, how do you see this particular news this morning?
The shake-up news is a good one. Then on the other hand, the lobby of a thing is not a new thing, because most of them even lobbied to be in the office at the first place. So, and lobby outrightly is not a crime, but when you know your performance, your capacity, you don't need to lobby. When you know that you've performed well as a minister, you don't need to lobby. Now, the first question should be, what do we need 46 ministers for in this country? The number is too much. You have Minister for Education, then you have Minister for State Education. What are the differences? You have Minister for Agriculture, you have Minister for State Agriculture. What is the difference between the Minister for Agriculture and Minister for State of Agriculture? And then these ministers will also have their own appointees, special advisors, SSA, and then the SSA will have another SA, and the thing goes on. And in fact, that once this money that is already mapped out from the budget is being placed to the office of the minister will not be able to perform too well, because the person will say, let me take up this. And coming to the performance of the ministers, there are few of them that we've seen their performances. We've seen that what they've performed. We've seen we've seen few of their scorecards that even if they bring it out to the public, we will say yes, that we can do that. And let me start with the Minister for Women Affairs. She's doing so well in that area. She's doing so well, and other few ministers. So the shake up, and apart from the shaking up and telling the ministers to present their scorecard, those scorecards should also be investigated to ensure that yes, that this scorecard that this Minister A presented to the house or will present is actually what the minister has done. Because you cannot tell me, bring out your scorecard for the past 1 year and 3 months, and you are telling me that you did this while you didn't, and you are saying that this is what you've done with this particular amount and how you've been able to work in your ministry, and at the end of the day it's all false. So there should also be an investigative body to ensure that this scorecards that these ministers will present is actually what they've already done in their ministries for the past 1 year.
Well, I think that the committee should even be set up before them presenting the scorecard. They will go to different ministries and check out what you've done, so that when you are talking, they already have the data of what was actually done in that particular ministry. So they'll just tell you if you're lying, they'll find out.
Yes, I think a similar thing was done during the regime of the former president Goodluck Jonathan, but I think that was when he needed the scorecards of the performances of the 35 state governors, including the FCT. Then the committee was headed by the Minister for Information, and he went through the 36 states and brought the scorecards of these governors, and a good documentary was made from their scorecards. So I believe that making this committee to go and investigate in these ministries, and let them not be biased while going on this investigative assignment if need be, so that it will help us to know where this country is going to, and to help us to know that 100% of the problem that we are having in this country is not from the president.
All right, thank you so much. We also have a story where federal government is proposing national identification number, name, and tax for foreigners. Now, I'm beginning to wonder, does it mean that foreigners that come into Nigeria, they've not been paying taxes? Wow.
Things are done in Nigeria in a way that we can't even comprehend. That headline means something has been wrong since way back, because you cannot immediately you are stepping into a foreign country, the Western country, for example, you are documented from the airport. You are documented. You can't even transact without having these ID numbers. You can't do any transaction. You can't do nothing. You can't even get a home. They say you want to rent a home without all these IDs. But Africa is Africa. But there's this saying in Igbo that Obidota, not the Balubo. So we are heading somewhere. They didn't start today. So if we start getting it right today, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
All right. What do you also have to say about the Edo poll? There have been a lot of reactions from people, Edo citizens, and then the international observers, people that went there to observe the election. They've been saying that it was marred by a lot of irregularities and all that. So, and it appeared in today's paper in front of Punch. They're saying that Edo poll marred by vote buying and delay. This is coming from NBA observers, and same NBA yesterday said that the election was actually peaceful, but now maybe peaceful in the sense that there was no violence, but then there were still irregularities that marred the electoral process anyway. So.
Well, I would say this very INEC has institutional problem, because the new electoral act that was amended stated some things clear. But then we have the BVAS and the IREV. The BVAS and the IREV are not allowed to do their job. That is where the problem is. Election can be very peaceful and there's no issues. And then when it comes to collation, you start seeing all manner of malpractices. People who are in position should allow institutions to run exactly the way it is considered to run. That is the problem INEC is having. INEC, our electoral system is actually good as it is now. We are improving on it, but then the people manning and handling, the functions, they are not allowing the system to run. These politicians have a way of manipulating things. They come and then they offer money, and then before you know it, what used to be white then turns from collation center. The results are changed. We saw a lot of irregularities. You will see accredited voters and a certain number, and then number of votes, and then why will the voters register be a certain number, and then we have double of it as voters at the end of it, and then INEC will administer it, and no irregularity, they will just announce the result like that. Results like that should be cancelled. It is high time we should allow the IREV and the BVAS to function. INEC should let them function the way it's supposed to be. This is 21st century, for crying out loud, and tech is everywhere, and now we are still talking about paper collations. Everybody, you will do your accreditation by BVAS and the rest and all that, and then at the end of the day you see people writing results and all that. It's not supposed to be so. By the time you vote, and then the IREV, they said it's a result viewing portal. if it is a result viewing portal, the result in IREF should be the same result INEC is announcing.
Exactly.
But it's not so, because we have corrupt people, and these corrupt people are the ones making the electoral process looking as if it's not. In fact, Nigerians have lost hope. When it comes to elections now, Nigerians have lost hope, especially this particular INEC headed by Yakubu. Nigerians do not have any drop of hope that they are going to do the right thing again. You know, it is wrong. We should let institutions function the way they are supposed to be. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's quickly go over to the newspaper under review this morning, and that's the Vanguard newspaper. Panic in the 11th state as release of water from Lagdo Dam begins. That's the big story there. States active measures to mitigate impact of flooding, set up IDP camps. Confusion, tales of hardship as relocation order comes into effect as some communities refuse to obey. Okay, 25 observer groups thumbed down Edo election. Labour Party was rigged out. Reps caucus. Igbenedion Okoduwa Obaseki's S8 hailed Governor-elect Okpebole. And then October 1st protest. End bad governors. Organizers propose virtual meeting with police as right groups take a protest to Vanguard, seek release of detained protesters. We have the story of Bobrisky in trouble again for allegedly bribing EFCC officials with 15 million naira. Cabinet rejig to be based on minister's performance presidency. And then we can see the picture of Funke Akindele and other actresses at the launch of Her Money and Her Power. I think that's her new movie. Then Tinubu won't interfere in Dangote and MPCL fuel price feud. Presidency. Catholic Church to Tinubu speak out on fuel price controversy. Federal government raises NYSC members' allowance by 133% to 77,000 naira. Okay, these and many more are the trending stories on the front page of Vanguard newspaper this morning. And Mandy, we have a whole lot going on in the front page of Vanguard. So, do we start with the big story?
Yeah.
The release of water from Lagdo Dam. Yes.
Yeah. Although personally, I'm still making research and inquiry about the Lagdo Dam.
Okay.
Now, our question should be: the Lagdo Dam has not been opened, and we're experiencing this kind of flooding in the country. What will happen when this Lagdo Dam opens? I've said it several times that most times our problem is not, because flooding is a natural disaster which cannot be stopped completely, but we can stop it to the barest minimum. Now, dredging of our rivers. The federal government should work together with the Federal Ministry of Environment, with the state governors, with their commissioners, and NEMA and FEMA, and all these people that are in charge of both the environment, the water, and the town planning, and the rest of them, to ensure that there is a lasting solution to this flooding in Nigeria. When they brainstorm together, a case study of River Niger and River Benue, when we dredge them, one of the reasons why this thing has not been done is that for over 20 years or more than 30 years, River Niger has never been dredged. And during the rainy season, these rivers exceeds their banks, and then they flow into the communities, causing flooding. That is why they will tell you that's why they tell some people leave this particular area, especially those at the riverine areas and go to this place, and they provide IDP camp. And many disadvantages of this IDP camp is outbreak of diseases, and not the government doesn't even look towards them to know their problems. Education is being clamped down, and the rest of them. Food, though, because most of them they are predominantly farmers, and into aquaculture. So you see, this is the problem. When the federal government sees this, let's say these 11 states, discusses with the governors and their commissioners, they will know how to dredge these rivers, both the minor rivers and the major rivers. Once we dredge this thing, and other maybe in particular areas, before you start building, the planning will be done. A very good and conducive environment, you give them a good planning that will help waterways, that will help drainages to pass through. You see, all these things will be of a past. It is manageable. Flooding is a natural disaster. We cannot stop it 100% in this country, but we can bring it down to the barest minimum. So the idea of telling people every year, because some people it is their ancestral homes, telling people every year, come out from from your home to IDP camp, maybe after 3-4 months they come back home, by 6-7 months they're going back to IDP camp, 3-4 months they're coming back. Even if the person decides to be going on tour, even if it's tourism, it's tiring. Please, there should be lasting solution to this. And we should also have our own dam. Because I think that mostly this flood of a thing, one of the advantages is that if we should have our own dam in the states and we harbor these floods, it can be used during the dry season for dry season farming. Cameroon did it, and to some extent the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Governor Willie Obiano, did it. That was why he was flagging off dry season farming in Anambra State. So I think that there should be a lasting solution to this. So I want to use the opportunity to commiserate with those people that are in the 11 states and some other states. Please bear with us. I believe that Nigeria will be better. There will be lasting solution to this. But what we are asking for is, when will it be? The time that it will take.
All right, thank you so much. Izuchukwu, would you want to delve into this Bobrisky issue with EFCC?
I think I'll pass.
Okay, you will pass. Okay, all right. So, which one would you want to talk about? I mean, the president is saying that they are not going to interfere. Yes. Okay, so let's quickly look at that.
It's a pain in the ass, I would say, because the back and forth is getting too long, and the people are at the end of it. The citizens are suffering. Every time there is queue on the filling stations and all that, and the president is saying that it's not going to interfere. It is wrong. You appointed these people at NNPC, and they are having, there's a showdown going. I don't know. I think it's a power toss. I can't even place my hand on exactly what is going on. Why is NNPC trying to monopolize the purchase of PMS from Dangote Refinery? It is wrong. If had it been that they are paying subsidy, let me put it that way now, and now they are trying to control the subsidy payment, and you say this is why you are monopolizing it. It is understandable. You are not paying subsidy. We are getting the PMS at an exorbitant price now, and now it's now making it they're making it seem like importing fuel is more economical than refining fuel here. It is, I don't know. I don't understand what is going on. This should be an open market. Let all marketers have access. By so doing, prices will come down. I'm very, very sure of that, because there's no way you allow other marketers to come. If you are going to sell your product expensive and me, I'm making my little profit here. Yeah, that's your own. And if I come, I lift my PMS and then I sell to my customers the way they buy. Then there's no issue there. NNPC should take a chill pill and relax and let this economy flow. You should allow this economy to just flow. Fuel is a major stimulant in the economy, because the price of goods, especially food, depends on fuel. If fuel is expensive, price of food it skyrockets immediately. It does not even wait, because if transporting these goods from rural areas to the major cities, if it's cheap, products will be cheap. But if it's expensive transporting these products, then food is going to be expensive. There's serious food crisis now, and this fuel issue is one of the major problems. Insecurity, it's there. That one is on the side. The president should know what to say. Call these people. Let there be a mutual agreement and all that. All this, they signed this, they did that, and all. That is not what the Nigerians want to hear. We want to hear that fuel is now affordable. That is just it. The president should know what to do about it, please. Staying out of it is not a solution, please.
All right, quickly, let's see other papers we have. The Guardian, Daily Trust newspaper. The Guardian is still talking about the shake-up that will happen in the ministerial levels, reshuffling. 11 ministers, senior official may go as Tinubu reshuffles cabinet. You can see the pictures there. We don't have time to call their names one after the other. Court restraints PDP governors, National Working Committee, BOT members, orders from dissolving pro-Wike ESCOs and Rivers. Okay, that you can see on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Disclosed details of investigation. Dismissed the female soldier challenges army. And then we can see, after confirmation by Senate, CJN vows to sanitize judiciary. Bello claims vendetta as EFCC slams 110 billion naira in fresh fraud charges. Federal government denies interference in petrol pump price roll. Okay, let's see the Daily Trust. Hardship. Civil servants go to work twice a week. Even feeding is difficult. Only Lagos, Ogun State, Ogun and Osun approved of days. We pretend we don't know what is happening, coming from a director. It will lead to low productivity, analyst. And then MSMEs can't survive on current interest rate, Fidelity Bank MD. Publish your investigation report, discharge female soldier tells army. And then Kekere Ekun confirmed the CJN vows not to condone corruption. 2009 agreement, salaries. ASU gives federal government 14-day ultimatum. And then we still have the story of Bobrisky there. I mean, it appeared in all the papers. I wonder why it's good. It's Juku, you don't want to talk about it, but let's leave that. Do you want to talk about? Okay. All right. Let's quickly see other stories we have at the front pages of both the Guardian and the Daily Trust newspaper. Now, that should be on Monday. They were talking about discharging a female soldier. Yes, and now the female soldier came out publicly and she's telling the army that they should disclose details of investigation.
Actually, she's right to mention that, and when she was making her statement, she said that it was due to sexual harassment from a senior officer. And fortunately or unfortunately, the people that were to investigate the matter were also senior officers.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, she was discharged and accused of mental, that she has a mental issue. That was why they discharged her. Now, coming to that, I have two things to say, because when she made that statement, the Minister for Women Affairs delved into the action and also doing her own investigation. So we are yet to see the investigation of the Minister for Women Affairs concerning the matter. Then secondly, since she has been discharged, she's entitled to all benefits. So the army should not neglect her, since they've stated that it was that they are discharging her based on mental health issue. They should see that that she's being taken good care of, and all her benefits given to her. You know, I believe that she came out open to speak. Things are happening. We know that in many institutions of this country, of the world, that male senior employees would like to, most of them harasses their female colleagues, which is totally wrong. But where I will not support is when this person is speaking out for justice, and at the end of the day, the justice is being turned against the victim. It's a bad one. So since she has been discharged, on the other hand, we are waiting to know the result or the investigation result from the Ministry of Women Affairs, because the minister said that she's interested and she has already started taking up the matter. So let's keep watching and know what will happen. And for her to say that they should show the investigative reports is right. They should show the public, because since they are telling the public that she was discharged based on the mental health, that she should also we should also let them know that these things will be done with time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We don't really have time again for us to go through the papers, but there is one topic I want you to look at. In front page of the Nigerian Tribune, federal government proposes tax relief to companies for employment and retention of employees for 3 years.
Well, anything to quell down the hardship.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a welcome development. But then they shouldn't just throw it out in the open there. It should go to deserving companies and all that, because if you allow because if things like this, once it is said and it's rolled out, and Nigerians have a way of doing things. People that will benefit will not be the people.
Yes, exactly.
So they should make sure that these the tax relief and all that goes exactly to the people who actually need it. That's the only way to have effect and be productive.
All right. Well, we just want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us on Press Review this morning. Emandi Ezenago and Izuchukwu Osakwa, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Chidima, for having me.
Well, that's it on Press Review this morning. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we have other things for you. Stay with us.